Hey, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. Welcome to Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link Virtual Studios and brought to you, as always, by AskSSL.ai. I'm Bob Woods, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Bryn Tillman and Stan Robinson Jr. How y'all doing today?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Real good.
Excellent, excellent. So, no matter what industry or industries you're either in or you sell to, I could pretty much guarantee that there are influencers within those industries. That's why prospecting by utilizing those industry influencers and their followers is so important. As businesses seek to create creative ways to engage potential clients, learning to tap into those communities surrounding the key influencers. They can provide you valuable insights and especially connections. So today we're going to outline the essential steps and effective prospecting those people, and we're going to share some strategies to engage, connect, and transform followers into loyal clients, which I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a great goal to me.
Yeah, can I start?
You can always start.
Okay, so I know that Bob has his process and his questions and that we go through, which keeps us all on track. Thank goodness he's producer. Just saying. However, I do want to say one thing as we're looking at this topic. I want to think about this as these influencers are keynotes at conferences, right? So the keynote is the author, the speaker, and all the commenters are the people that came to see the speaker, right? The commenters are the fans. Now, the way we want to look at this is who are those people that attract the same people you want to engage with? This is the key, right? This is the magic here. So, the other piece is when you're doing this, make sure they're a non competitor. It's a little icky if you hop in there and you're competing for the same business. But for example, one of the best places for me to show up is 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings for Mark Hunter and Meredith Elliott Powell's Sales Logic live stream podcast. Why? They have a very vibrant group of people that fit right into our target audience. So when I engage there, I get new connections that I can nurture over time, and they can either potentially become prospects or good friends or podcast guests for us, which has happened. Lots of things can come from it. But I love going there, not just because Mark and Meredith are phenomenal and I love their content and I love engaging, but it's like the best networking opportunity for me to do. And I'm still in my pajamas, right? So it's a really great, it's just a great opportunity. So as we go through this, and as Bob goes through his very curated list of actionable things, yes, which I love, the team's curated list that
Yes.
Bob will happily run. I want you guys to think in the perspective of these influencers are the keynote attracting the commenters, and we want to engage both the influencer but primarily those commenters. So Bob, go into your magic, please.
Sprinkle that
There you
pixie
go.
dust or what do we want to
That's
say here?
good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
uh so first of all, it's easy to find those huge influencers, like the Kardashians, Mr. Beast or whatever, because everyone knows them. We may not necessarily know who the influencers are that our prospects are engaging with. We need to find them. So how do we do that? So if y'all don't mind, I'm going to take this one
Yeah.
really quick because there are four ways that we have to find. Number one is just simply check who your clients are engaging with. And this is easy to do on LinkedIn because you just go to their posts and you click on comments and you see who they are engaging with. That one's pretty simple. The second one is a little more nuanced, but find out what books your target audience is likely are what they're reading essentially. Find them on Amazon, figure out what they're writing about and things like that, and then find them on LinkedIn. And if they are posting on LinkedIn, which if they are authors, they should be posting on LinkedIn because they're trying to sell books. At that point, you have another potential place to find that, for lack of a better term, target rich environment. And I put that in quotes because you're obviously not truly targeting people, but these are the people who you likely do want to be starting conversations with. Number 3 is using Google search, and you can use AI for this as well to find top blogs and podcasts in your target client's niche or industry. And from there, again, you go on LinkedIn, you find out if they're posting on there. If they are, you start engaging with people through there. And then number 4 is finding relevant hashtags your clients and prospects are following, and then analyzing the posts to make sure that those hashtags, quite frankly, are working. And if they are, you can click on those hashtags, especially in LinkedIn, and start engaging with the people, the influencers who are using those hashtags, and rinse and repeat everything that I've just said.
I have a 5.
You have a 5. Let's do a 5. Absolutely.
Bonus number 5. Listen Notes. I love this. Hop into listennotes.com. It is the hub of every single podcast that's publicly out there. And you can search by topic, by title. So if you know topics that your prospects care about, you are likely to find podcast interviews by some influencers, and even in our case, if you were looking to engage with people that are interested in sales, AI, and LinkedIn, you'd go check out our stuff, right? And so you'd look at Making Sales Social on listennotes.com. I was working with a bank on Friday, my last call on Friday with this last cohort of this bank. That I just love these guys. They're just amazing. And outside of their bank influencers, they didn't know where to go. But we took them into Listen Notes. And in this particular case, it was manufacturing in Texas was what this person was looking for. And in Listen Notes, we found all these manufacturing companies. And then when we looked through a lot with the keyword Texas, we got a lot of people that were from Texas that were guests on the manufacturing podcast. Like, it was amazing. And then we were able, as Bob said before, from Google or AI search, or Amazon, jump into LinkedIn, and we would find them. And lo and behold, they were attracting lots of people that the banker wanted to meet. So it was really wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. One quick side note. Awesome. Listen Notes.
Yeah, the comment. Yes.
I love Julie. I interviewed her for the podcast, so you'll get to know her soon.
Excellent.
Good deal. Yeah, Bryn, one quick side note. You mentioned an 8 a.m. call on Saturday mornings. One thing about finding an audience that's serious is people who are showing up for an 8 a.m. call on Saturday morning are serious about their craft. And that automatically,
I love that,
makes them a higher level audience. Now, I realize we're talking about LinkedIn here, but the same thing is true of paid events in general, whether they're online or offline. People who are willing to pay for an event are much more likely to be serious about what they're doing, and therefore better.
That's brilliant, Stan. I love that. I mean,
that's absolutely huge. Brilliant. Yeah, it's huge. In fact, I've got a local event here in Lexington tomorrow. That's coming up tomorrow late afternoon and in the evening. That's paid, and it was $30. So I mean, it's not like it's huge, but yet there are a lot of people out there who are going to look at that and go, yeah, no, I'm going to blow that off. And those are, more than likely, not exclusively, but more than likely not that high higher value type of person that you would want to connect with. So I think that's brilliant.
All right, what do we have next on the list?
Yeah, so we've gotten into this a little bit already, and that's just engaging on the content with author and comments. So once you find all that stuff, you got to take things to the next step. And the best way to do that is actively commenting and also being in that value added mindset. We mentioned the concept a lot of yes and here, which comes from improv comedy. Agree and then add additional value to whatever is being said already. It's a great mindset to have, especially when you're commenting, and it works really, really well.
So I would love to add to this.
Are you going to yes and me?
Yes, and Bob, I'd love to add to that. Yes, that is it. Yeah, I thought I'd love to add. That is a yes and, so that you could actually use that in your comment.
Yes.
So I love that. Absolutely. And one of the things I love to do in a comment from the influencer is quote them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it tells them that you really consumed their content and that it was meaningful. So if you pull a quote from their piece and talk about why that resonates with you, not only will the influencer more likely engage with that, but also the commenters are going to love that too, right? Because you're continuing to talk about what that influencer talked about. So it's yes-anding them, right? Love this, but even calling it out. And then the and is, and this is why it inspired me, or this is what it made me think of, or this is right. And really, really powerful. And I don't want to jump ahead on the commenters, so I don't have the list in front of me. But I think, as we engage with these commenters, I want you to think in terms of, if I were at this keynote and these commenters were in the room with me, how would I start a conversation with them? So actually, I see that there was, Mike said, great tips. How do you suggest starting the conversation? And so we'll dive into this a little bit more in a minute. But I want you to treat the person on the other side of the message the way you would if they were on the other side of the table. So this is a human being. I know we think of it as a profile or a lead, or I want. It's all about me and what I want. I hear myself saying this. Consider looking at this opportunity as networking first. Not, even though we're calling it prospecting and it starts with a conversation. So it's really important that you don't just jump in and start talking all about you and what you want.
Right.
But you're talking about what they need, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So now that Brent has got us started in that, let's go headlong into connecting with commenters using, and this is specific here, additional content. So we do have ways to do that with people who you're already connected to, as well as for second degree connections. But overall, remember what I said about providing value. So you can do the old yes and thing, which works really, really well. I've done a lot. It works. You can also share additional relevant content when you're going to that next step. So let's say that you have already been conversing with someone in a comment section, and you're thinking, okay, I actually want to connect with this person for whatever reason. If they're a potential networking partner, if they're a potential prospect, if they're just good people, no matter what. Connecting using additional content is excellent because you're, again, providing even more value than you've already done through the commenting that you've done within the comment section of the influencer.
Yeah. Stan, do you want to add to that?
I was going to say, one thing you talk about all the time is using listen notes as a way of providing additional content that the commenter may be interested in. and you can include that in a LinkedIn invitation.
I
You
love
basically say, I noticed we're both followers of Bryn Tillman, and if you haven't heard it, here is one of she and Bob Wood's
and Stan
podcasts
Rupp.
that you may be of interest in. Yep, given that you might be interested in, given the nature of your comment. So it takes a little bit of research, but it is worth it.
I love that. I'm going to yes and that. That's brilliant way to use listen notes, right? So I'm going to stick with the Mark Hunter, Meredith Elliott Powell, because that feels more natural to me. So I'm engaging with these folks, and now let's say I see Natalie and I connect with Natalie. Really great engaging with you. As we're both fans of the Sales Logic podcast, I'm not sure if you heard this one that you went and found with Stan's tip, right? You went and found that another podcast, but let's connect. I'd be happy to send you the link. Is another way to do that to keep the conversation going. So I love at that point you have a rapport going. Sending the link is great, but also keep it like the back and forth, like the tennis match is let's connect and I'll send you the link. Now we connect. Yes, please send the link. Or you could even say, let's connect. And if you're interested, let me know. I'll send the link. And now they have to say yes. Right. And this sparks that conversation. Now you've gotten that other link from Listen Notes that was a great idea, Stan. And now we, love to send that back and forth. And then how do we kind of bridge that over? Well, you're also going to look at what they do. You'll ask them, maybe, are there other people that you follow? Here are some other people that I follow. Hey, I'm curious. So I would do this I'm not sure if social selling tips is up your alley, but if it is, we have tons of free resources. Let me know. I'm happy to send some of that. Now it's a gift, not a push, right? After a few back and forths. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. So the question, I don't know. I see it on my phone, but I don't see it coming up in chat, which is interesting. But Mike, Pihosh, Pihosh, maybe Mike Pihosh, asked the question, how do we start conversations and just have a natural conversation by detaching from what the prospect is worth to you and attaching to what you are worth to them. Continue to bring value and insights. That will continue the conversation moving forward. So I know I see it on my phone. I can show you it's really there.
Yeah, that's weird because it's not showing up in our platform, but I just accessed on LinkedIn the broadcast, and yeah, I see it there too. So that's interesting. So next, let's focus on first degrees.
Oh, so Stan, interrupt me because I get so excited about this.
No, go for it.
What's LinkedIn great now, and I have done this, and so if you look, Mark Hunter has an obscene amount of followers in a good way, obscene in an enormous amount of followers. I can search Mark Hunter followers and my first degree connections with other filters like VP of sales or in specific industries. And so now I see that he has, I have, 1,200 first degree connections that meet my criteria that follow Mark. What a powerful way to re-engage my first degree connections that I've been ignoring. Hey, Stan, I see we're both big fans of Mark Hunter. Recently came across a podcast and recognize you've already done the work to get that podcast, right? We're just using it in another step, right? So recently came across this podcast with some really great insights. If you're interested, let me know. I'm happy to send you a link. And now you've started a conversation with those first degree connections in a trust-based way that's not salesy. So I just simply, a lot of you might be saying, well, how do I do that? In free LinkedIn, go up to the search bar and hit enter. Go to all filters, click on first degree connections. Well, people, make sure you're on people. Mm-hmm, yeah. And then first degree connections. and then followers of. And by the way, you can put in the names of influencers that you're not connected to. So you can see who's following Tony Robbins, and Brene Brown, and Oprah Winfrey, right? You can find all of those followers, even if you're not connected to that influencer that you are first degree connected to and beyond. So really powerful. And now you're recycling that wonderful podcast link that you've come.
Yep. And then what's really cool about that is this is also going to get us into second degree connections, is that you can use the additional filters to really drill that down, because especially when it comes to second degree connections, you're going to come up by using what Bryn just said. So clicking that search bar, hitting enter, making sure that you're in people, clicking all filters, entering in Mark Hunter. When you click on second, like when I look at my second degree people who are following Mark Hunter because he's an influencer, I get 18,000 results. Guess what? That's a lot. So you can use the other filters that are in there, like locations, current company if you want to, past company, industry, especially industry. I think that one's probably the biggest one there. And then you can use keywords as well, so, especially the title one. If you're looking for specific titles of people who are also following Mark Hunter, who are second degrees, you can really drill down. And this is all with the free LinkedIn too. You can drill down and really get specific and find those exact people with whom you would like to start a conversation with.
Fabulous. Boy, this is fun.
These are always fun. When do we not have fun?
Yes.
We always have fun.
We always have fun. Yeah.
Yep. And everything we've talked about, you can do in the free version of LinkedIn. You don't need Sales Navigator to do any of this.
Exactly.
However, caveat, if you have Sales Navigator, you can really draw into your exact prospect.
Right. Yeah.
You can take that 1,800 or 18,000. How many do you have?
18,000.
Ridiculous, right? So you go 18,000 and drill it down by actual roles, like as many as you sell to. And there are other features in Sales Navigator, like if they've shared content, well, they've commented, but if they've shared content in the last 30 days or changed jobs in the last 90 days, and that takes your outreach to a whole other level.
Yep. Absolutely. So you have homework from this episode, which, let's admit it, you usually have homework after every one of our episodes. But for today, it's to go and find those influencers and authors on LinkedIn or other platforms who have, a large following, or it doesn't even have to be large necessarily. If they have a smaller following, but it's exactly the person, it's exactly the people within that following that you're trying to reach. The size doesn't matter because they are reaching the exact people who you want to reach. And then use everything that we just taught. You can definitely start more conversations with the people who you want to be talking to in the first place, which is always a good thing, right, guys?
Absolutely.
So with that, we appreciate you making time for this episode of Making Sales Social Live, sponsored by AskSSL.ai. If you're with us live on LinkedIn or YouTube right now, we do this every week, so keep an eye out for those live sessions. If you're listening to us on our podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button so you can have all the access to us all the time, and drop a like or comment if you'd like to as well, or a like and a comment. We'll do either. We do 2 shows weekly, this one and our Making Sales Social interview series, where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many, many, many more areas. More info on our podcast is available at socialsaleslink.com/podcast. So when you're out and about this week and every week, be sure to make your sales
social. We'll get there someday.
Yeah.
Someday. It's getting better.
It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Thanks, everybody. Have a great
side note, if you're listening live, go to Prompt Writing Made Easy. Get on the wait list for our book that's coming out April 15th. We're very, very, very excited. And if you're listening in replay, if you go to Prompt Writing Made Easy, you can buy the book. Bye, guys.
All right. Very, very,
Bye,
very
Al.
excited.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We need more than 3, but that's okay. Next time. See y'all
Okay.
later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.